when I was younger and I would draw, I would always draw people the same way, like this. From the front, straight, same stance every single time. And I loved it until I got older and realized that not everyone should look that way, especially when you're doing drawings and things like that. And sometimes armies can feel like that. They can feel like every miniature looks exactly the same. So how do you fix it? Well, posing, right? Dynamic stances, looking awesome, doing your job, whatever that is. And some companies do it well, some companies don't. And sometimes it doesn't matter how well it's done, you just want to change it. That's me. So, is it worth changing? Let's talk about it. Okay, so Steamforged Games just sent me Bandit. And no, not that Bandit, this Bandit. And he is the newest super heavy warjack for the Gravediggers faction, which is probably one of the coolest sentences that I have ever said. So shouldn't the model be just as cool as that sentence? I thought so, but it's summer and my kids are home and my family's all around and we got things to do, so I don't have a ton of time to change things. And granted, the pose that this model comes in, pretty cool, pretty unique. It's not just your scarecrow, right? It's a cool pose. It's got an awesome tactical cement thing that it stands on. It's a really cool model, but I want to change it. I want to make it mine. I want to make it better. I want to make it more dynamic, if that's even possible. And the second that I saw the tactical concrete and his foot was up, I thought, wouldn't it be cooler if instead of just having its foot up on some concrete, it was actually up on top of an enemy, pressing them down into the mud, crushing all hope from them? Yeah, I thought so. So I decided that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this up and I'm going to do that. But there's so many little factors when it comes to kit bashing that you have to take into account. And one of them is the material. Are you dealing with a 3D printed model? Are you dealing with resin? Are you dealing with plastic? Are you dealing with one of the other things that's out there? The white metal, the Cyocast, the whatever. There's so many different materials models can be made out of. You got to kind of look at those first. But ultimately, everything can be kit bashed. Even down to one of the hardest materials, I think, which is metal to work with, all the way up to resin. Just like Bandit. Some kit bashes can take hundreds, even thousands of dollars to make, and can take hours upon hours upon hours. The kit bash I'm doing today is probably one of the simplest that I have ever done, and it cost me nothing. You have the materials around to do stuff. You have old models in your pile of shame from 20 years ago that you're not using that you could use for something like this. And that's what I did. So let me kind of show you a little bit of how I went through that process and what I did to do it. Okay, so I made this a while back. When I first saw Bandit and I saw that his foot was up, I thought I can make this work. Even if I had to like elevate where his other foot was standing, put him on a rock or something like that, I thought this would work. And so I put this together. Now, I didn't really account exactly for how he was going to be moving and like how he was going to be posed exactly, because I should have done it a little differently. But anyway, I thought, well, it doesn't matter. We'll wait and see when he gets here and see how it works. And so what I've done at this point is I put him together the way that I need to for now. Now, his arm, when I put it on, I want to have it upraised. I want him to be bringing the hammer down on his enemy, whereas it's supposed to be just like this. That is fit snug where it's supposed to be. Cool pose. Looks good. Looks great. But I'm going for the I'm gonna smash your brains in pose. Which, when they have the joints like this, it makes it so easy, because I mean it's supposed to be sitting flush inside of that. So realistically, all I have to do is get rid of this little nub right here, and then I can put that in there any way that I want and glue it in. Now, is it going to be a strong? No, but it'll be strong enough. Like, I'm not worried about it at all. So anyway, I put them on. I tried it out and I thought, do I like how it sits? And here, let me change this so you can see it. And this is how it was sitting. And I thought, that's freaking perfect. It is absolutely perfect. His leg over here was a little off with the joints, but all I did was, again, shave the square piece down a tiny bit. I shaved it down a little bit on the edges so that it could move around a hair, and then I just put it in, and it worked. Fantastic. And so now he's going to be standing here with his foot completely on this Crick's unit, crushing him down with a hammer over his head to finish the fight. And so I was super happy with how it all turned out. Like, sometimes you have to kit bash a lot to get what you want, but in this case of this one, I did more kit bashing on this than I did on this, which is super nice. So now that everything is glued and how I want it to be for this, I just am kind of looking at it and deciding what else I need to do. And what I've determined is that the back of the base is super open and I need to put something there. So I'm going to start doing that now and just kind of finish this off. I'm going to mark off where his foot is on the cork board for now, just because I want it all to fit perfectly, and I want to leave that spot blank so that his foot can be there for when I'm all said and done. So now, having that spot marked off, I can do anything I want back here. So we're going to put in some barbed wire. We're going to do some gravedigger stuff to make it all look perfect. Okay, so I like the idea of doing a trench, you know, fighting outside of a trench. And so I built up just this little wall behind it for the trench. I'm going to run some razor wire across the top of that once I get it all done. And now all I have to do is just add in some mud around him to look like he's being pushed down into the mud, and they're fighting. And so that's what I'm going to do. And then with a quick little dry brushing over all the materials and things like that, just to give it some highlights, this is what it turned out looking like. Now, is it that different? No, it's honestly not. And the tweaks that I did were just simple little tweaks, moving some things here and there, changing the joint, not hard stuff, especially when the model is put together in a way that's so easy. And truth be told, the more joints that a model has, it's the more places that you can break it apart and change things and stuff like that. So sometimes more is better, especially when it comes to kit bashing. But this model was perfect for what I wanted to do, and just raising that hammer changed it from you know, on patrol, ready to attack, to smashing your face and crushing you into the mud, which is what I was going for and what I really liked. So, not hard, simple little thing. Changes it a ton. Now I feel like he fits in better with my Gravediggers, because the vibe my Gravedigger army has is very much we are attacking, not we're waiting. It's we're coming out of the mist, surprise. And so I feel like this does a great job for that, and I like it. I love how it turned out. And so my question to you, after doing something so simple like this, is what is your favorite kitbash that you've done? What did it take? Okay, how much did it cost? What's the most you spent on a kitbash? That's the kind of stuff that I want to know that's out there, because honestly, the bottom part of this right here, this part, I did more work on him than I did on the actual model, and all I did on him was put wires in his arms and the shoulder joints so that I can make him do that reaching off to save me that he didn't get, by the way. And so that's the kind of stuff I love about this hobby, is because now I can show up and everyone's got a Bandit. Some people actually have Bandit from Bluey. You know who you are. And they play with them for Warmachine, and it's great, it's fantastic, but no one has mine. No one has my Bandit, and it's a little story that I get to tell every time that I pull it out and people look at it. Now, he's not done. And if you'd like to see him done, stick around. Like, subscribe, hit that little bell, and you'll be notified the next time I post a video where I paint him, which is next week. Hopefully. If I can get him all painted. It'll be about him next week. I just don't know if he'll be all the way done or not. And yeah, you better believe it. I am trying a new painting style again, because I'm a glutton for punishment, and it's called sketching. And I'm actually really excited for this, because if you've been watching the Squidmar Paint Master series that they're doing, they brought a guy on who did it, and in like 30 minutes had painted something better than I've ever done in tens of hours. And so I'm really excited to see how it turns out. And if you're excited to see that as well, please stick around. And as always, thank you for joining us today. And don't spend so much time building your world that you forget to spend some time in it. Till next time.